Tonight, victim of the system, sexually abused by his foster mom when he was just a kid. A Georgia man is now prevented by state law from suing the Division of Family and Children's Services. The reveals Chief Investigator Brendan Keefe discovered DFCS kept sending teen boys to a Cherokee County foster home because the abuser specifically requested them.
I think it's the next road on the right.
Daniel Huertas.
Wow. Can't believe I remember how to get here.
Is heading back.
That's the house right there.
Back home.
Yeah, that's the house.
And back to the night in the 1990s when he ran away.
You lost your virginity to your foster mother.
Yeah, she would watch pornographic videos, and she would point out what she liked me to try on her.
The Cherokee County Department of Family and Children's Services sent 15-year-old Daniel and other boys to live with Sherry Jo Wilkes. Court records show the foster mother specifically requested that boys be placed with her, and DFCS obliged because it was difficult to find homes that would accept teenage boys. After 8 months, Daniel built up the courage to tell his DFCS caseworker that his foster mom was sexually abusing him.
And you thought, here comes the cavalry.
Right, I thought.
Is that what happened?
No, that's not what happened. They sent me back to the foster home.
They sent you back after you said you were being abused.
Yeah.
Sherry Jo Wilkes went to the district attorney's office in Cherokee County and claimed Daniel raped her. But sheriff's detectives discovered other victims in the home, foster boys who insisted they were also sexually abused. One boy claimed the foster mom kept him silent with a gun. Sherry Jo Wilkes pleaded guilty to felony child molestation and related charges in 1993. In return for that plea, she was given 10 years probation, not prison, ordered to pay $100 in restitution, and the judge allowed her to continue babysitting and fostering children once that probation was over.
The justice system stopped at the foster mother, gave her probation, and didn't go after the system to see who may have known and who may have facilitated that abuse.
Right.
Daniel wants to sue the Department of Family and Children's Services for perpetuating the abuse, but he can't. While Georgia briefly allowed adults to sue individuals who abused them decades earlier as children, it's one of only 2 states in the nation that prevented victims from suing entities like DFCS under that extended statute of limitations.
No amount of money they could ever offer me would fix what's been broken.
Daniel has battled addiction and homelessness. Now he's fighting for his daughter. His 14-year-old girl was placed in foster care by Cherokee County DFCS.
You believe there are good foster parents out there, right?
I believe there is, and I believe that there is children out there that do need to be taken from their homes, and I believe that there's children out there that are legitimately being abused.
And we asked DFCS if the agency wanted to apologize to Daniel Huertas and what safeguards have been put in place to prevent similar abuse in the future. DFCS responded that confidentiality laws prevent the agency from even acknowledging Daniel was in the foster care system, but the state did insist significant improvements have been made without detailing those changes, Aisha.
Such an important story because now you see his daughter and it's all coming full circle here. You don't want to see it play out the same way. So what about the foster mother in this case?
Yeah, this is really interesting. Sherry Jo Wilkes served her 10 years probation without incident. The foster mom now tells us she was forced into taking a plea, and none of the charges are true. She did not specifically request teen boys, she claims. You can read her full statement right now on 11alive.com.
All right, thank you so much, Brendan.